Can you talk a little bit about what TA65 does to improve your immune system and how important that is?
Well, immunity is everything.
Mm.
I spoke to this 81-year-old gentleman this week who's very active, physically, sexually, emotionally, professionally. He flies, he fixes boats. But, you're looking at him, he looks good. Jack LaLanne looked good at 95. But if without an immune system, you're just one cold away from dying. Because what happens is your immune system, the adaptive one at least, the B's and the T cells, they start to fade as you go through life. So aging is a form of acquired immune deficiency. So it's a lowercase AIDS. So what happens is, Jack LaLanne said, I can't go to the hospital, it's bad for my brand, and I certainly can't die. Well, that's true, but he had no other choice because if you think of the immune system like blank keys, right, you need blank keys to respond to the next flu or the next cold, and you just eventually run out. So luckily, the TA65 was proven at the UCLA David Geffen School to help improve the fraction of available naive cells. So that, I believe, will really help people. Because without the good immune system, you get poor cancer surveillance, right? You get excess inflammation, and then the disease associated with that. So it's all about the immune system.
Talk a little bit more about that tie-in with cancer and how that might benefit.
Well, most people think of cancer as kind of like a bolt from the blue or a genetic inheritance, but it's really not. If you live to be 300, you will get cancer of every organ. Just like if you drive a Volvo 2 million miles, you're not going to have any of the original parts. Same problem. So it's just a matter of which cancer you get when. And that can be a function of lifestyle. Now, there are exceptions. There are familial cancer syndromes. But interestingly, they seem to be related to failure to repair telomeres, too. So the final common pathway seems to come with poor DNA maintenance and repair and destruction. So people think of cancer as this bolt from the blue, when in actuality it's just an eventuality. It's like friction in car parts. So you've probably had cancer millions of times already. The cells were either able to burn out, like a forest fire burning through. The queens were able to kill themselves because they recognized they were making bad copies. The natural killer cells killed them, or the adaptive immune system killed them. There's plenty of ways to get rid of cancer. It's very hard to make, and it's a very unstable condition. So all the assumptions we know are true about cancer are actually completely wrong. Yeah, you don't get it once, and then it's a death sentence. You get it millions of times, and you fight it off 999,999 times. And it's really all these people, I don't like all the faith healers and all the positive thinking people, because look, you're going to die of cancer if you don't do the right thing. But there is something to be said for that. Once you start grinding down on the negativity and you let the Western medical system poison you and burn you, your chances actually are probably less in many cases than just taking nothing. I mean, that's a very heretical statement, and one, which will never be tested because people are so inculcated with the idea that standard medicine is good. They don't acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is that we're actually poisoning the immune system. We're actually scarring the tissues, so.